May 14, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. There was this big drop that happened at around 5:30 Pacific Standard. This is when the core PPI numbers came out. And then there was another piece of economic data, well, not economic data, but something that could have moved the market, which is at around 7 o'clock Pacific Standard. That's when Fed Chair Powell comes out and kind of gives a press conference. And it looked like that one didn't really do anything. Overall, the market was kind of trading, at least in regular trading hours, within roughly 30 points, I would say. Made it up to 52.74. And regular trading hours, the lows is about 52, I don't know, you could say 41. So it's about 30, 33 points. It was pretty slow price action. There wasn't that many setups, and similar to yesterday, it was just a slow day of trading. So I found a total of, I think, like 4 setups, and I took, let's see, 5 setups. And I actually took 2 trades. They were actually in quick succession, and I was profitable on both. The second one was a little more aggressive, but I'll admit it looked pretty okay at the time. So we get through the trades right now. So pre-market, there's this huge 20-point drop that happened right when the PPI numbers came out, the core PPI. It was, I'm not around to trade this, but it was just pretty interesting. This could really smash your account or give you a big profit, but you have to guess correctly, which isn't the easiest thing in the world. Then, so in the pre-market, I drew this as, it looked like there's some kind of resistance because prices came right back up to where it was before the economic data was released. And it looked like it got squished or kind of like held down. It came back down. So I saw this green up channel. And then I found this purple channel that I thought at least was a good trendline support. Market opens. It respects this pre-market high 3 times now. First touch, second touch, third touch. It is a triple test potentially, but there's no clean setup that I felt was safe. You could argue this is a new low, first entry short, second entry short, but this is a terrible signal bar to go short on, and you'd be basing it off the strength of this very preliminary potential trading range, but you don't know that yet. Prices then move down. It confirms my purple up channel pretty nicely. I had this at one time slightly lower, and I treated this as an overshoot. And then when it didn't overshoot here and it kept moving up, that's when I decided to kind of drag the purple channel maybe up to here, but it still fit pretty well here. So I was, kind of had two trend lines actually going on at one time. It's this consolidation area, nothing particularly looking good, but then it does confirm this purple trend line going up really nicely a 4th time. So I really like this trend line now. I'm looking for any potential trades off of it. The problem is it's stalling out. It's not moving from the bottom of the purple channel to the top anymore. It looks like it came down, went up, down, touched, actually broke out, made a second attempt, and it came down. So this trend line support is holding really well. It's arguable whether it actually touched this or not. You could have it touch, it doesn't really matter, but it's close enough. So you can say at least it made it back to the top and it's coming back to the bottom. But now it's kind of stalling out. It looks like it's struggling. Kind of moves up. And here makes another attempt, but it falls short. And it finally breaks through. It was actually your first entry long. A second entry long here. Second entry long, I saw this yellow down channel, and the second entry long hasn't broken out. And you really can't assume to take a long just yet because you're still in this yellow down channel. Finally, it breaks out, and I'm thinking, is there going to be a test of this yellow down channel? But it keeps flushing upwards. Goes along this orange up channel, almost hits the top of this purple trend line again. Pops around, you technically have first entry long. You don't have a second entry long till you get all the way down here. And that doesn't even count as a second entry long anymore because it's not within this trading structure. So it's like a second attempt to move up. This is very sketchy if you thought this is a second entry long. Technically, per the count, it is just strictly per the count, which you need to take into context the overall price action. But it is a first entry long, second entry long, too far from the EMA. There's no real support here to base or justify a trade. Prices move down, drops around, Okay, so then I actually see this. I saw this big flush down. It breaks out of this green down channel. It pushes up, comes back down. And then actually, I saw this as a new low. I saw first entry short, pull back, second entry short. On the second entry short, it moved one tick down to confirm a second entry short, but immediately on the same bar, it pushed really strongly up and created a failure. So I was thinking this is potentially in a trading range. So it broke down, moved down on a second channel, and it looks like it's consolidating here. So I like that as a break of the green down channel, made two attempts. First attempt down to test this low, it fell short, made a second attempt on this candle, but on the same candle, it failed, pushed up, closed above this previous candle, very strong, one tick from the top. So I actually like this setup. I thought it was a strong bullish close. It is enough room to squish to the EMA. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try to take a trade here. But enter at the highs of this candle. I didn't want to move one tick up because I knew for a 1 point scalp, I'd be right underneath this. If I moved one tick up, then I would require a matching high. And it looked like it made it. But as you can see, the next few candles, it doesn't quite, it struggles. So that's why I put it right here. Got my quick scalp and I was pretty happy. But then I also noticed it's a first attempt up, then push back, second attempt up, pull back, third attempt up. So this is a true triple test and it triple test right at the same level. Triple test with a rejection by the EMA potentially, because you actually don't know until you see the next candle. So I saw that prices are at the top of the range, triple test. EMA looks like it's holding prices down. I'm going to admit this is a little aggressive because I also justified it as a potential second entry short. You have a new low here, first entry short, second entry short. The count resets. You have a first entry short. You technically have a second entry short. When I saw it break below, chopped around, I entered to see if I get filled. It is aggressive and early, but I was lucky. It kind of pulled back a little bit. Not the cleanest setup because this is a pretty bad signal bar to go short on, but I was basing off the strength of this triple test, potentially a second entry short, high of the range, enough room to scalp back down. This yellow up channel doesn't exist. So I was able to scalp out quickly with a 1 point scalp again. Again, it was at the highs of this candle and not at the highs here because it would have been debatable whether I would have gotten filled here before it moved up. And if I was still in the trade, likely one of these candles would have stopped me out. I got two quick green trades in a row. And I also knew that this one was a little more aggressive. And I had to wait pretty much a whole hour during the most busiest time of the day where most of the price action is going to happen. And I knew, okay, well, it might be another slow day. I'm going to walk away or at least, cool my trading eagerness because I don't want to potentially lose any or give any profits back. So I knew this one's a decent setup. This one was a little more riskier. And I decided to just kind of slow down and watch the charts. This is a yellow up channel uptrend going up. Now, one time I actually had the channel tighter like this. It fit pretty well. I had an overshoot. It fired up and continued out, bounces off the midline of this channel. It bounces around some more. You do have a new high. It's a first entry long, second entry long. The second entry long, it's an inside bar, decent signal bar, but there's not that much room to the highs before you potentially get stopped out. And I wanted to touch the EMA, so I didn't really see a potential trade here. At this point, I saw this and I actually decided to drag this upwards. Comes down, first entry long, pull back. It's breaking out of this yellow up channel now. Technically, you have a new high, first entry long. You have a second entry long here, a potential second entry long failure, but this is a little bit jarbled, kind of far from the EMA, no real clean setup that I particularly like. Drops down, kind of rides down on this, what I think is a potential channel. So I made it a red channel going down. Makes a new low here. First entry short. Unfortunately, you don't get a second entry short before it makes another new low. Now, this original red channel coming down, it looked like it's fitting pretty well, but I also saw a potential green channel that also seems like it fit pretty well. It is overlapping the red one. So I was thinking maybe there's kind of like this gradual change in the price action is shallowing out or becoming less shallow. Excuse me, is becoming more shallow. Moves up. I actually see a new low here. First entry short, pull back. I was thinking there's a potential second entry short here. This is only a 5-tick candle, and I thought this is actually a possible trade. EMA is holding prices down. EMA is this blue line. There's a small break here, but it came back down. Small break, but it immediately got pushed back down. Another potential small break here. I like that it's a strong signal bar bearish, and it could be the first break of this red channel. If you're playing the red channel, playing the red channel is the first break, and your first break is probably going to fail and come back and test this. But if you're playing the green channel, which I wasn't 100% sure on, and I wasn't 100% bought off on yet, then you're actually still within the range, so it wouldn't be a really good setup for the green. But I thought it was decent enough on this red channel, and in overall context, it looked like a decent setup. Also, I thought it was a potential triple test. Technically, depending on how you looked at the charts, you could say this is a push up once, and this could be your first test, but I actually saw it as breakthrough. This is part of the move. One attempt up, pull back, second attempt up, pull back, third attempt up. So I have a lot more reasons to go short than to doubt it and go long. Plus it's going with the bias. So I thought there's a potential trade here. If I wanted to take the trade, I would have put it probably at the low of this bar. And it's debatable whether I would have gotten filled because it opened right at the lows. And then if I was filled, then I for sure would have gotten a 1-point scalp. If I took it one tick below, then this candle for sure would have given you the scalp, even a 2-point scalp. Prices then continue moving down. So now it looks like it's fitting the green pretty well, and the red is kind of only really mattered up here. Prices move up on this yellow channel, pushes back down. I drew this purple trend line support. I didn't have this as a resistance yet, so you can ignore it. But if I was playing with this at one time, thinking there's an overshoot here, breaks out, consolidates, then continues upwards. So I actually want to extend this upwards to find a larger channel, and it fit pretty well. There's 2 touches here, 2 touches, arguable if there's a third touch, but at least it looks like it's kind of obeying this channel. Breaks out. There's a first entry long. Now here, it creates a second entry long. Now I thought for a while if there was an actual second entry long trade. The thing that was going against it, so I saw it as no trade. This candle needed to come down, touch the EMA, and then bounce up. It's a good close. It's a small risk, which is nice. It's the first break of this green down channel. So it's the first break of the green down channel. You're expecting it to test the lows of this green down channel. Overall price action context is bullish, but there's an overshoot here. So it's important not to go take a second entry in the direction of the original price action when you have an overshoot, because it could actually be 1 leg down, 2 attempts up, and then a second leg down to hit this side of the support or break out the bottom and create a corresponding symmetrical breakout here before it resumes the big uptrend. So I knew all that. Well, I didn't know all that. I was thinking about all that, thinking, okay, well, there's a second entry long inside this, but it came from an overshoot, so that gives me a little bit of pause. I'm expecting another move down. Plus, there's another potential move down to test the lows of this screen. Well, why don't I take a second entry short? There's no clean setup for a second entry short. It looks like if you did go long, it would have worked, but I think it was just happened to work in that case. You have a first entry short. Now you have a potential second entry short. This could be a break, 2 attempts up, and then this could start the second leg. So I even drew this orange measured move leg, thinking it could come back down and maybe touch the EMA, or at least break down and cut through here. So I thought there might have been a possible trade here because it looked like it's a break, 2 pushes up, and then might resume back down to at least hit the EMA. And this is a pretty decent bearish bar. This is only a 7-tick candle, so it's well within the risk that I would probably be taking. It looked like it would have worked for that 1 point because it would have gotten out before the EMA. Price is then chop, pushes up again. It gets very, very spindly, meaning like these are just really small candles, and they're kind of like spotty. They don't really go in a nice trend, or not even in a nice trading range. It just looks a little bit noisy. I'm just kind of sitting on my hands, but this is also very close to the end of the day. And this is going into the last 10 minutes, starting about right here. And from the last 10 minutes, right here to the last 10 minutes is about 30 minutes. So there wasn't that much price action happening toward the end of the day. Typically, you see a lot more volatility in the last 10 minutes where traders are closing out their positions, or just a lot of hands are changing contracts. But it was a little slower again today, and not too many setups. I was fortunate to take these 2 setups and get green on both. And I'm glad I didn't try to push it for any more, because as you can see, I didn't really see any additional setups on a kind of a slow day. A little bit better than yesterday, but not by too much. So hopefully that was helpful.